Okay, so here's a technique that we're using at the Queen Farm that has some application to anybody really managing fruit trees. You might be able to see that the tops of these trees, we've essentially removed them all. That's because they used to look like this, kaplank. You see all that huge amount of growth up top? And this actually in front of me on the ground, it's a little difficult to see in the sunlight, but you see it's taller than I am. It's probably about 7 feet high. It's part of the top of the tree that we removed. Anyways, the reason we're removing the top of the tree is because in recent years, what's essentially happened is that the emphasis of growth on this tree has been allowed to rise to the top. So we've got basically all the vegetative and essentially all the new and fresh fruiting growth happening way up high, beyond our reach. And that would be a problem in itself, obviously. It means you've essentially got to do most of your work on ladders. We try to avoid that where we can. It also suppresses the growth down below. So essentially you get very little in the way of new and regenerative growth down below. The bottom of the tree is cast into shade and all the energy is going up top. So when we're removing the top of the tree, we're not just getting rid of the shade. Sunlight is very important for the health of fruit trees, vital for fruit. It also, when you get sunlight onto a trunk, triggers new growth. So what we're endeavoring to do here is bring the growth emphasis down the tree so that hopefully we'll be triggering new growth coming in here and so that we can replace these older branches with new wood and create fresh growth, and younger wood produces bigger, happier pieces of fruit, a good general rule. So this is, it's not enough, however, this is the important bit. It's not enough, however, to simply take the top off a tree, because what this is going to produce is a paroxysm of growth. These trees have a huge amount of energy supported in the roots that supports essentially, well, there would have been probably twice the vigor that we've basically now removed by taking the top off this tree, and that vigor is going to want to show itself, and what we expect to see is something akin to the porcupine effect. A lot of growth, boom, coming up the top, and then hopefully some more coming down the side of the tree. And if we leave that, we're basically going to have a worse problem than we had in the first place. We're going to have a tree in a sort of a paroxysm of growth and a lot of the energy going into vegetative growth rather than fruit, and all sorts of problems associated. So the key part of this technique that we're basically using here to restore these fruit trees hasn't happened yet. It's going to come in with a summer pruning in late May and early June. And at that point, we're basically going to come in and remove most of the flush of new growth. Most of it will probably be up top, and we'll take most of that down. We might leave a single shoot going up to branch off, or we might have a few coming out the side, but most of that we'll remove. And then hopefully we'll have growth coming in on the trunk of the tree too. And we'll remove some of that, but leave the select ones that we want to set up for new scaffolding. So this technique that we're using is only really applicable if you're going to come in and do your summer prune. Late May, early June is when it works best, because that's when the new growth is soft, and you can literally tear it off or rub it off. So that's it in a nutshell. A sort of a radical approach to restructuring and redirecting the growth of fruit trees. But as I said, you can't go halfway with it. If you're going to take the top off a tree like this, you're going to need to come in late May, early June, and take care of the consequences. And then obviously what we'll continue to do is settle this tree down a little more over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. And hopefully in another 2 to 3 to 4 years we'll have trees where a large focus of fresh, regenerative, new and healthy growth is within ready reach of the orchardists, and the trees are happy, and so on and so forth. There you have it. Beautiful day today. A little chilly though.